So, in the spirit, for those who celebrate the Thanksgiving holiday coming up, it's always nice to cultivate some gratitude. So, that's what we're working on today. When you're ready, finding a cozy spot to begin our practice together. Cozy to me means sweater, very fuzzy socks, and I have my favorite prop this time of year a little space heater. So it's extra, extra important for us to be cozy, or we're not going to want to sit for this practice. As you find your spot, don't mind me, I have my water this week just because I was sick last week. So I do need to wet my palate every once in a while, or my voice kind of goes away completely. You probably won't need a drink with you, but of course you're welcome to have it. You can sit like I'm choosing to do today, using perhaps a wall or the back of your chair for a support. If you do that, scoot your backside, the back of your shoulders, all the way up against the edge there, so you can really feel that support. And another way to get settled is by lying down, but don't do that if you're feeling really sleepy this morning. Whichever way you choose to get settled, once you arrive, we're just going to take a couple of movements to help us ease in more effectively today. Reaching your chin towards the ceiling. Take a big stretch open of your throat. Drop your chin down towards your chest. And as you do, lift from the back of your shoulder blade. So you're really staying very long here, just stretching through the back of your neck. If you're seated, you can reach your fingertips to the back of your skull and drop down a bit more. Apply a tiny bit of pressure there, more like an invitation to lengthen the back of your neck. Reaching your eyes back towards the ceiling if you're lying, or forward if you're sitting. Then we'll take a gentle glance over our right shoulders, softening your jaw as you do. Looking forward and over your left shoulder when you're ready. Maybe settling a bit more deeply here in our shoulders, dropping them further from our earlobes, creating some space for our necks. Eyes will look back up or forward depending on how you're resting. When you are ready, join me. I invite you to close your eyes. You don't have to do that. Closing our eyes is really nice though, because we are bombarded all day with visual stimulation. So this lets us drop away from the lights, the colors, the textures, the words, the blinks of messages coming through. Alternatively, I like to take my eyes down to something unmoving, something that's pretty dull too. Don't look at a workbook or something you've written down, something very plain. And then close your eyes to tiny little slits. So they're still open, but you might be looking for your eyelashes and it feels really fuzzy and cozy that way, dropping in to your meditation practice. Feeling stability here. You are supported by me, by the others that have joined us in our practice. You're supported by your practice. You're supported by what you're resting on. Notice that, feel that sense of community. Feel that sense of letting go into your supports. Let's connect with our breath to help us get there. Now, I ask you every week to be open-minded, to be open-hearted, to be curious. None of us have ever been in this second together before. It's new to all of us. Therefore, we are all beginners. Could you come without any preconceived notions, without any expectations for your practice? As we're open-hearted and open-minded, we become the observer to our practice, to what comes up, to what may release. And we'll begin by observing our breath. Are you able to slow down enough for it to catch up with you? Noticing your breath exactly as it is. We are not here to force it into any unnatural rhythms, to try to make it longer. Just see if naturally As you rest, as you recharge, this may start to happen on its own. You feel a little broader somewhere, a little bigger and more spacious. You might notice your breath takes a really long time to fill up. And while we're checking in, dropping in, can we let go of any funny facial expressions? Ideally, the only tension in our face would be maybe an upturn at the corners of our mouths. Holding a little soft smile just feels good. Brings a real warm and fuzzy feeling to your practice. So I love to have a little smile on my face. But you don't have to do that. You can drop away completely. So we'll visually, in our mind's eye, you might imagine how your face looks. Where do you carry tension? Between your eyebrows? Does your forehead furrow? Do you have those beautiful lines of smiles and laughters around the corners of your eyes? We see that, we feel that. And just as quickly, let's let all of it go. So now you may be seeing in your mind's eye a perfectly smooth surface left behind. No focus, no plans, no memories, no concentration, no frustrations, no associations with anything else except for being here right now, exactly where you were meant to be. Connecting with your breath. Now, inevitably, those little lines will come back because our thought mind will start to kick back up. Things will creep in here and there as we practice slowing down and connecting. Use your breath again in that moment. Feel like you could gather your breath up, make a little bubble with it, and you trap any thoughts that have crept into your mind. And just like you could blow a little bubble away from you, let that thought float right on out of your awareness. Today, a wonderful practice. Let us focus together on the good in our lives. One of my favorite quotes that you may have heard me say before: nothing attracts the tongue like a chipped tooth. So, when you chip your tooth or you have something going on in your mouth, your tongue just worries it constantly, right? You're always feeling it. Nothing attracts the tongue like a chipped tooth. Well, we're going to try to flip that script today. And instead of focusing on what may not be as perfect as we'd like it to be, we're going to focus on all the good that we've been blessed with today. Developing our appreciation muscles. Now, when we settle down and work on our gratitude and our sense of appreciation, I don't want you to think that this means I'm telling you to be complacent. You should always strive to be better, to do more, reach your goals. I don't want to negate any of that. But sometimes, especially in the era of so much media, our social media that we love, we end up focusing on our wishes and our wants, our desires, so much that they can become really magnified in our minds and they take over. We have this sense of not being enough because of what we're seeing. We forget, this may not be you, but we forget to really be present and appreciate ourselves and what is in front of us in this very moment. So it's really easy to lose sight of the entire world of goodness that we literally have right at our fingertips. Coming back into your breath. Do you notice your sits bones? If you're lying, perhaps it's the back of your shoulder blades or your heels. Can you notice bones in your body grounding down, rooting and spreading beneath you? Now, simultaneously, do you feel your spine stretching far from that? Or if you're lying, your front body opening and filling away from your grounding. We're connecting to this sense of deep relaxation as much as we are lightening, lifting, opening, and receiving. Can you breathe directly into your heart? As if you could open up your chest, breathe into your heart and expand it. It's so full, soft, happy, and beautiful. In our first measure of gratitude, are you able to conjure up the image, the feeling, the emotions associated with something that's going really well for you right now? What's working out in your life for you currently? I don't want this to be a brain buster. So if you're frustrated, you're like, I don't know, I'm just here to meditate. Well, that's what's going really well for you right now. You made time in a busy schedule to squeeze in some meditation practice. Or my favorite, this is my go-to, you can build from here. But on the most basic level, you can definitely feel gratitude for being alive. You woke up today with this beautiful gift of breath. Perhaps you're feeling healthy. That's wonderful, and I'm so happy for you. What's going well for you right now? Let's breathe into that for a moment. Just notice what happens. Really bring it into your body, bring it into your mind. Once you take the time to notice it, are there any physical sensations that go along with it? Did you get like a little chill? Did you feel warm and fuzzy? Did you feel joyful and light? Did you feel relaxed and happy? Maybe fulfilled? And let's think just a bit bigger. Our second gratitude practice. What opportunities over the course of your life have been wonderful? Are there opportunities that you took or that you had offered to you that feel really life affirming? You feel really proud. Are there insights you have gained in your life? This one's one of my favorites. I always fill with gratitude when I think about travel. Are there places that you have visited that make you feel so grateful for the moments, for the memories, for the opportunities? Is there something that you've worked very hard for? So as you're breathing and focusing on gratitude once again, it may be revolving around your life experiences, your education, your skills. Let's think about positive relationships. Those troubling ones, altercations, folks you have difficulties with, they can really play at the forefront of our minds. So we want to bring them to the back burner. They're still there. But instead, we're focusing on something that makes you feel loving. It doesn't have to be a person. It can be a pet. Something that brings you a feeling of support, belonging. Maybe if it's a pet or a person you love to hug, it literally brings you a feeling of warmth, safety, love, connection. Let's bring to mind, let's bring to body and heart. Maybe you smell them. Maybe your senses are really on overdrive right now because this being, this person with whom you have a relationship, this beloved pet, just brings all the feels to you. They enrich your life. Maybe they smile at you and cheer you on. They could be family, friends, acquaintances, colleagues, peers. Those who support you when you need a shoulder or a hand or a paw. Settle into our breath with our relationships, our nurturing, loving, compassionate relationships, something that we really treasure in mind. This is a really nice one to let your heart swell. Bring that person so deeply to mind that they might connect. You have like a little tether between your hearts, or you just swallow them right into your own heart and just swell up with the feeling of that connection that you have. My friends, simple things. What simple things, our next practice of gratitude, bring you joy? Maybe in this colder weather, it's a beautifully perfect temperature cup of tea. Is it a new book? Whatever your hobby may be, is it getting in the car to drive to start your hobby? Is it a bird that flutters by? Or we have buzzards where we live, those big black birds. And sometimes I don't even see them before I hear their wings. And then you look up and you're just like, whoa, something small but significant. What feelings or emotions do you have? So if it were a sense of awe, maybe it's like this big, this feeling that there are things out there that are so much bigger than we are. Maybe again, it's a feeling of love, security, comfort, safety, joy. There's never a wrong answer. What are you experiencing when you think of this small, simple, treasured something that brings you joy? Taking time out of our day to luxuriate and reflecting upon or thinking about these wonderful things is such a gift. My hope for us by practicing this way is that going forward, we're more open and receptive to allowing these things to come into our consciousness, to not take them for granted. And perhaps what we've envisioned so far today, we now see with a lens of even fuller gratitude. It just feels so good. Slow down and realize how fortunate we are. Now, our last gratitude practice today, things that you may overlook regularly, big, large scale things that can bring us happiness if we slow down long enough to notice them. Where I live, it's the changing of the leaves. That's a big one. It's pretty noticeable, but sometimes we don't take the time to appreciate it. You know, like the tongue is attracted to a chipped tooth. In my area, you might be thinking, oh, I've got all these leaves I have to clean up now. But for a moment, we can shift our perspective and see all the leaves that are still on the trees and how jaw-droppingly, unbelievably gorgeous they are. Maybe you're a night owl and you like to be outside at night. Maybe it's a sky full of stars. Take some time to look up and really appreciate that. I got to see a shooting star the other night and I was like, oh my gosh, it just really took me back. And then, of course, I watched the sky for the next half hour, relentlessly trying to see another one, but that didn't work out as I was hoping. Still, it's amazing. What a gift that is. Not something that we notice all the time, right? Perhaps we're grateful for the abundance of nature that produces food to nourish our body, even if you don't consider yourself particularly healthy in the fruit and veggie department. Think of what was made for your morning toast or your cereal or your pasta at night. Nature is definitely working in our favor to nourish our bodies. And if you're a nature fan, maybe it nourishes you, but it also feeds your soul. Getting out into nature, so replenishing. Let's breathe in for a moment to these often overlooked larger scale things, moments that can bring us joy if we just slow down long enough to notice. Slide your attention to how this sense of gratitude, or all of our gratitude practices, made you feel in your heart or in the area around your heart. With each inhale, do you feel a little fuller? Can you let whatever you experienced grow outwards? Let those feelings of, you have to fill in your own blanks here, but maybe it's belonging, support, love, connection, warmth, safety, whatever you have experienced today, let's use our breath to expand outwards from our heart space. Fill your chest up with your feelings, emotions, and sensations. Send it down to your legs, fill up. You could see everything growing with this sense of wonder, love, and appreciation. Let that happen with your arms and your fingers. I usually like to wiggle the area of my body that I'm thinking about, like as if you're opening it up and allowing it, giving it the permission to fill up. Send it all around your brain. Maybe your hairs stand a little further from your skull. You feel your head fill up with such feel-good vibes. We literally might be vibrating higher now, lifting a little taller. Let those feelings, sensations, and emotions radiate through your back body. A little wider there. More expansive, softer, and fuller in a very good way. Your front body, same. Breathe. Move these feelings and emotions through. Our gratitude practice is so powerful, not just for the here and now. As we rooted ourselves down and we grew our little roots, that's what happens with our gratitude practice. You'll notice that it starts translating into so much more that you do. You've taken that extra moment to be. It translates through those that you associate with, that you have relationships with. They feel that higher vibration that you're now on. So I'm hoping that you leave our practice today and anytime we practice gratitude in a more positive mood, hoping to feel that you've promoted some hope in your body, resilience. We might experience emotions such as more gratitude, feeling extra loving and kind. That's always a bonus. More compassionate towards ourselves and others. This gratitude awareness broadens our creativity, our problem-solving capabilities blossom. We've just opened ourselves up. We become more effective in whatever we choose to do today. And in gratitude for you showing up for yourself, If there was an epiphany you had, or a tiny moment, a cherished moment that you discovered, share it with someone else. Maybe you tell them how grateful you are for them, or you share your beloved afternoon cup of coffee, something that you really cherish with them, and help it become meaningful in their lives as well. Offer them the opportunity to slow down. Maybe it's just in the way you're presenting yourself from this moment forward. Simple, joyful moments of pleasure now sprinkled around the world to make it a happier place. My friends, thank you so much for joining me today. My light honors yours. Namaste and have a beautiful day today.